Hey guys, I just harvested a handful of radishes and I'm gonna ferment them, so I thought I'd take you along. Today I'm gonna use a couple of cucumbers and a couple of jalapenos and the handful of radishes that I got from our garden, and then a store-bought onion because mine just aren't ready yet. Fermenting is so easy. You basically need salt and water and a jar and whatever veggies you're going to ferment. That's all it takes. It's that easy. Now, granted, you can make it fancy. You can come up with different concoctions and different recipes and throw in caraway and juniper and mustard seed and all of that, but today I'm just using salt and water, and that's gonna be my brine for these radish and cucumbers. For starters, all I'm gonna do is trim off the tops and tails of my radishes and just slice them into coins.
Is that bug spray or is that for the plants?
Bug spray.
Radishes aren't everybody's favorite. They're kind of spicy. You don't really know what to do with them. I mean, you can only make so much potato salad, right? So a couple ways we like to eat them are pickled, like canned, fall canning recipe, or this way, fermented. It's kind of like taco bar style. You can sprinkle those on top of your tacos. So good. And another great way is roasting them in the oven. Just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt. Roast them just like you would any other veggie or potato, and it really lightens the flavor, and they come out super delicious. Something that I just learned recently is that radishes are really great for your soil. They are a root crop, so they aerate the soil, they break up clay soil very nicely, and make a healthy little habitat for earthworms and other really great soil building creatures. So even if you don't like to eat radishes, which is a bummer because they're delicious, but if you don't like to eat them, they're really great for your soil. So a lot of people sow them as a cover crop because they also decompose very quickly. So they grow quickly, which makes for an amazing garden win. Like, I always tell everybody to grow radishes. It was one of the first things I grew, which made me feel like, wow, I have a green thumb, not a black thumb, because they grow so quickly and so well. Even in in-ground gardens and in raised bed gardens, they're just great growers, but they feed your soil. So now that I've got all my radishes cut into little coins, I'm gonna do the same thing with the cucumbers and the same thing with the jalapenos, and I'm gonna slice up some onion also to toss in there. So what exactly is fermentation, and why is it the cool thing to do? Well, basically, lactofermentation, which is the fancy name, is where bacteria called lactobacillus breaks down the sugars in the food that, or the veggies or whatever it is that you're fermenting. It breaks down the sugars and it turns it into lactic acid. Lactic acid is a preservative, so it preserves the food that you're fermenting. So that bacteria, lactobacillus, is a very good bacteria. In the beginning stages of fermentation, the salt brine kills off all the bad bacteria. So therefore, your food can be preserved. And it creates probiotic rich foods that are super good and healing for your gut. Now that all our goodies are chopped up, sliced up, I'm going to mix 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of good salt in 4 cups of water. Mixing that salt up in the water creates our brine that our veggies are gonna ferment in. You want to make sure that your salt is completely dissolved in your water. Now that our brine is made, I'm gonna grab my super clean jar and I'm gonna pack all my veggies in that super clean jar as tight as I can. Now we're just gonna pour our brine over our veggies. One last stir to make sure it's all dissolved. Okay. My jar is topped off with water. Now here is where the no need for fancy equipment comes in. You can just top this jar with a regular mason jar lid and ring and burp it every day. Or you can get a little fancy but not too much and buy a stack of these glass weights on Amazon. Set it right on top of your jar to weigh down your veggies to keep them submerged. And I even use these, which are super affordable. They're little silicone self-burping lids. And I put that right on top of my weight. And then use a regular old mason jar ring and tighten that down. And no burping is necessary. It'll self-burp, it'll bubble up, but it'll ferment in about 5 to 7 days. And our humidity, it might take less. If you live in colder temperatures, it might take a little bit longer. But I would check them within the next 5 to 7 days in the summer and see if they're at your liking. We like spicy pickles, so that's why I used jalapenos. Once the flavor is something that you like, once it gets to where you want it to be, take that self-burping lid off, top it with a flat, and put it in cold storage. I'm gonna put mine in my fridge. And that's it. Super easy, super affordable, and super good for you. I hope you learned something about radishes, and I hope I gave you the courage to try this because it's so easy and you can have healthy food for your family in a hot second. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I so enjoy sharing our story and these videos with you. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you on the next one. Oops, real quick, I forgot. That leftover brine that you made, don't waste it. Keep it in a jar, and then when the next batch of cucumbers in the next couple days comes available, use that same brine. You don't have to dump that brine out and waste that good salt. So I'm gonna keep this brine in a jar in my fridge, and tomorrow when the girls come in with the haul of cucumbers, I'm gonna make pickles. All right guys, see you later.